Am I the asshole for refusing to do the morally correct thing? Death brings out the absolute worst in people. My father passed away without a will. Bank assets had POD to me. Everything else goes through probate. I am an only child. My parents were married before I was born, separated when I was young and divorced when I was in my 30s. After his death, 2 of his siblings and their family claimed I wasn't his biological child and they were entitled to his estate. They asked me to do the morally correct thing and gift it to them. Probate was contested and ruled in my favor, but they are still upset, claiming they will file civil lawsuits until the truth is revealed. Am I the asshole for refusing to give them anything and not entertaining any conversations related to this? My father was involved in my life. There is no doubt in my mind that I am his child. Were you born during the marriage and were your parents straight? If so, in most states in the US, that's the end of it. A child born during marriage is the child of the married partners. Not the asshole. It isn't death that makes people assholes, it's money. That's one reason it's so important to have a will. You have no moral responsibility to give your father's money to anyone. Your father's money is now your money and you have no obligation or moral responsibility to give your money to anyone. If you have an estate attorney helping with everything, ask him if he can send a letter to the beggars explaining the law and telling them to cease and desist. Not the asshole. After his death, 2 of his siblings and their family claimed I wasn't his biological child and they were entitled to his estate. They asked me to do the morally correct thing and gift it to them. Interesting that people who would do something so amoral and hurtful would use that wording. Block them on everything. Don't entertain anything or give them a dime. Sorry for your loss. Death brings out the absolute worst in people. It absolutely does. When my grandmother died, my aunts were just about physically fighting over grandma's jewelry, and we are talking stuff she bought off of QVC, not actual good jewelry. Anyway, not the asshole. That was your dad and you were entitled as his only child. Not the asshole. There's a reason they were left out of their own parents' will and why your dad never bothered to include them in his own either. They have no leg to stand on. Keep them blocked and go get some coffee. Of course, not the asshole. Be aware that in most states, the probate court's ruling on things like next of kin are final. So they will file civil lawsuits until the truth is revealed. Stuff is an empty threat by them. People can file nonsense lawsuits, they just end up having their lawsuit thrown out, and occasionally having to pay the other side's attorney's fees. Am I the asshole for eating a to-go croissant at the coffee shop? My wife and I were out running errands. We stopped to get a coffee and a snack. We both order a coffee from the barista who comes around to take coffee orders. I then get up to order a croissant from the bread counter. Upon ordering, I'm informed that there is a $2 surcharge for eating here. I decline this and say, takeaway is fine. I return to the table, the coffee has arrived, and my wife has ordered some food as well. She ordered an egg salad sandwich. I tell her about the silly $2 surcharge on a $3 croissant. I put my croissant in my jacket pocket to eat later as we walk to the next shop. When her egg salad sandwich arrives, I can tell she doesn't want to eat alone, so I take out the croissant and eat with her. Then she goes quiet, doesn't say another word till we leave. Outside, she proceeds to tell me how upset she is by what I ordered and should have paid the extra. This is obviously a bit of a surprise to me. Instead of escalating things, we both decide it is best to go separate ways and she decides to go home. Am I the asshole? The surcharge is there for a reason, even if an extra $2 is excessive to me. You assumed your wife didn't want to eat alone without asking her? You eat your croissant without talking to her first? Just fucking talk to each other. This is minuscule and petty even for Reddit. You are the asshole for violating the policy of the coffee shop, which you knew about when you purchased the croissant. Your wife was embarrassed by your behavior, which is understandable. I'd find sitting with someone purposely flouting the store's rules a bit embarrassing, and I wouldn't be comfortable the whole time. So I kinda get why she wasn't happy. A fight was overkill though. And come on, you could tell she didn't want to eat alone, what nonsense. Not the asshole. Charging $2 for eating there is an asshole business practice. It's okay to disagree with the rules, but that doesn't entitle you to make up your own. If you don't like the way a business is run, take your patronage elsewhere. You are the asshole. It's absolutely outrageous to charge people extra just to eat the food they've already purchased on the premises. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my brother and sister-in-law stay at my apartment with their dog? So, I, 25F, live in a small, one-bedroom apartment in the Lower East Side, NYC. I love my space, it's cozy and just big enough for me and my routine. I also have pretty severe allergies to dander, pollen, and dust, so I keep my home very clean and have to be careful about animals. A few weeks ago, my brother, 28M, asked if he and my sister-in-law could crash at my place for a weekend because they were visiting the city for an event. I agreed at first, but then he casually mentioned they'd be bringing their dog, a very energetic pug. I reminded him of my allergies and said, "Sorry, but the dog can't come into my apartment." I offered a few compromises, like helping them find a pet-friendly Airbnb nearby or suggesting they leave the dog with a friend or sitter for the weekend, but he shot all of those ideas down citing cost. I totally understand that the dog is an extra expense, but you think they'd factor the dog into their decision-making more proactively. He got really annoyed and said I was being selfish because they'd already told a friend they wouldn't need them to dog sit and it costs a lot to have them kept somewhere. I stood firm and said, "I can host you guys, but not the dog. It's not fair to me, my space or my health." He got mad and said I was prioritizing my comfort over family, and accused me of not liking their dog. Which isn't true. I just literally can't breathe around it and pug hair gets everywhere. I literally need a lint roller after. They ended up booking a hotel instead, but now my brother is barely speaking to me, and my parents think I should have just made it work for one weekend, to keep the peace. I feel bad they had to spend more money, but it's not like I didn't warn them. Am I the asshole for refusing to let the dog stay in my apartment? Not the asshole. It's okay to be selfish about one's health. I think everything your brother said is true, just there's no inherent negative to it. You'd prefer to not be sneezing, teary-eyed, rash, however your allergies manifest, and there is nothing asshole about that. Tell me who the golden child is in your family without telling me who the golden child is. Absolutely not the asshole. And my parents think I should have just made it work for one weekend, to keep the peace. Why the fuck should you have to negatively impact your health because your brother is too immature and or cheap to manage his own dog? You tell your parents, keeping the peace is overrated. Not the asshole. And if your brother is barely speaking to you, enjoy the quiet. BTA. He sounds pretty entitled if he thinks he can use you as hotel space and bring a dog along when you've made it clear this won't work for you. He got mad and said I was prioritizing my comfort over family. Yep, and now let's talk about how he's a selfish jerk for prioritizing saving his money over your health. He's a massive asshole and so are your parents for siding with him. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The most audacious part was when he already told a friend they wouldn't need them to dog sit, without ever asking, telling Op that they wanted to bring the dog. How does he know he won't need the sitter if he never asked about bringing his dog? That is on him. He should confirm if his dog is welcome before dismissing the sitter. Also, just call the friend back and say things have changed and you'll need them to dog sit after all. Am I the asshole for arguing with my aunt over her bathroom rules for vacation? I, 17F, and my younger sister, 15F, are going on a vacation with my aunt, 33F, this summer. The three of us, along with my parents, other aunts, cousins and grandparents, basically the whole of my dad's side of the family, are all staying in the same villa that my grandparents are paying for. By the time we go on vacation, I will be about 2 months away from 18, and my sister will be 16. However, my aunt has said that she wants an adults-only bathroom, and that the bathroom will not include me or my sister. I was naturally annoyed by this, especially as it meant that me and my sister would be grouped together with my younger cousins, 4M, and 6F. She also said that she considers an adult to be anyone above the age of 21, but I know for sure that if I wasn't this close to being 18, she would have said an adult is anyone 18 plus. When I asked her why this was, she says it was because we aren't hygienic. I could understand this argument in relation to my younger cousins, seeing as they are both only recently potty trained, but I can't understand how she can apply this argument towards me, given I am probably the biggest clean freak I know. Additionally, I can't even remember the last time I shared a bathroom with her, and I have never given her any reason to believe that I am in any way unhygienic. She has also said that she wants adults-only pool time, again not including me and my sister. If I was young enough that I required supervision or inconvenienced her in some way, I would understand, but all I am doing is sharing the same common space as her, most likely without even interacting with her. Also, this is a family holiday with my parents and grandparents. It's not like she is going to be doing anything inappropriate or unsuitable for a 16 and 17-year-old. I've told her to her face that I have no intention of following any of these rules, but she seems insistent that I will. She is very stubborn, but I am also extremely stubborn, and I know for a fact that I could argue about this for as long as it takes. Am I the asshole for telling her I won't follow these rules, and would I be the asshole if I didn't follow them? Edit. There has been some confusion in the comments due to how I have worded this. My cousins aren't my aunt's kids, they are my other aunt's kids who is also coming. Not the asshole. She's not paying for this. She doesn't get to decide. What are your grandparents, parents saying about this? It may be worth having them deal with this. Not the asshole. Stop arguing. She can make whatever rules she wants. You don't have to follow them. If she brings it up before the vacation, be non-committal. I know your wishes. I understand. We don't need to keep talking about it. I'm not worried about it. Then, just do your business where convenient. Don't go out of your way to exclusively use her bathroom antagonistically, but don't avoid it either. It's a bathroom, not a battle. Do your business and move on. Same with the pool. If she confronts you, be non-committal and baffled at her appalling manners and do what you want anyway. You can't use the pool now. Yes, I can. I am here in a bathing suit. It's adult-only time. No, it isn't. I am here and would like to swim. You can't. I can, but I understand if you want to leave. Not the asshole. I wouldn't bother arguing with her, though. Just use the bathroom you want to use. When she complains, say, sorry, it was such a ridiculous request that I decided you must be pranking me. But seriously, leave that bathroom spotless. Don't prove her point. Not the asshole. She wants you and your sister to be free babysitters for the young kids so the adults can do whatever during the adult-only times. She also wants you and your sister to clean any accidents since they will happen in your bathroom. Not the asshole. You may be under 18, but she's not your parent. You can ignore her. If she's got a problem, tell her to find her own place to stay. Your grandparents are paying for this, not her. She doesn't get to make any rules. I'm assuming the 4 male and 6 female are your aunt's children? If so, be prepared to be told to babysit them whenever the adult activities take place. Make sure you and your sister do not become the defector childminders while your entitled and weird aunt tried to micromanage everyone else's vacation. Tell your parents now that you and your sis will not be babysitting. Not the asshole.